What if your fiance decides he wants kids at one point? What would you do?
I mean, hello and welcome back to the next installment of the Blind Bride series. In case you've been living under a rock and don't know, I got engaged. I say living under a rock as if like it's the most exciting thing to hit the news cycle recently. It's not. I just mean if you're watching this video, you're a follower of mine, which means I feel like you definitely know I got engaged.
Explanation for that?
Well, I feel like it was like, kids, you've been living under a rock as if like I'm like so important. I'm not. You only know if you're my follower, but if you're my follower, that's the only people who are watching this video. So you definitely know. I'm engaged. I got engaged 2 months ago to my wonderful now fiance, which I am finally used to saying fiance.
Yeah, me too. It took me like a few weeks, I feel like.
It took me like at least a month, but
Yeah.
I've gotten there. And I feel like, you know how you see those videos, I don't know if you're on Bride Talk, Wedding Talk, but these videos will pop on my feed and they're like, I'm a 2026 bride, I'm a 2027 bride. And I don't know what I am. No idea. Have not picked a date.
I feel like we want you to be a 2026 bride, but we're like, holy crap, 2026 is flying by.
Yeah, I think I'll be a 2027 bride. I don't think we do not have time for 2026.
Yeah, it's gonna fly by.
We don't have time for that, but I did have time to buy myself a bride sweater. I was so excited. I walked into Victoria's Secret for the first time in 2 decades, probably. No, not since I was 12, but probably since I was 20. I don't wear bras. I don't go into places like that. But I popped in for some reason, and I ended up finding this white, cute little off-the-shoulder moment that says bride in silver rhinestones. Like, so tacky and over the top, but best believe I love it, and I will be wearing it way too often in my bridal era. So there you go. I did a Q&A recently where my fiance answered my Q&A for me. It was a really fun video, so go check that out if you haven't seen it yet. And a bunch of the questions were related to the wedding and the engagement and stuff. So I figured I would just do an entire dedicated video to those specific questions. And my fiance will be off camera as the voice of God asking the questions. So let's just jump into it. I should stop rambling. Let's go.
I like that, the voice of God. Okay, this is a perfect first question, I feel like. It's a perfect way to like ease into it. What do you love the most about being engaged?
Ooh, it's weird, and I've said this before, but like it's weird how it does feel different to me. And I don't know why, but I've heard other like fiancés say the same thing and be like, yeah, I know, I totally agree. Like, even though I already felt like we were married, I knew we were going to get engaged at some point soon, like this was the track we were on, and I already considered him my life partner. For some reason, once like a stupid arbitrary question was asked on one knee with a ring, all of a sudden I'm like, it's different now. But yeah, I do feel different, and I think that's my favorite part. Yeah, I would say that's my favorite part. It's just like I feel this like sense of contentment and excitement moving into this next phase of the relationship.
Yeah, it feels like more official, more legit.
Yes, more legitimate.
Like when I reference you to like someone random at the dog park and I'm like, oh yeah, my fiance.
We're real.
Yeah.
Which is why I feel like in my late 20s, early 30s, I've always kind of defaulted to partner over boyfriend. Is I always just felt like, particularly if I was in like a work environment or something, being like, my boyfriend, like it just sounded juvenile to me and like not significant enough to what I considered you to be in my life, which is why I defaulted to partner. And it's fun now getting to say fiance, and it like lasts for such a short window in your life that, and same with like getting to wear like bride stuff, it lasts for so little that I'm just gonna like soak up every moment, and I don't want to rush through this phase of our relationship. Everybody does their like engagement period differently. Some people just like dive right into planning and like just want to get to the marriage part. And like I'm just happy to enjoy this phase. And it's been exciting getting to be like, I'm engaged. Like, I don't know, like telling people over the last 2 months.
Yeah, definitely.
As
You
I
only get
see
engaged
people.
once, hopefully.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, here's a fun one. What textures or silhouettes are you looking for in a wedding dress?
Ooh,
All wedding dress talk. Here we go.
Such a good question. You guys know the fashion I am so excited for. I may need to have multiple dresses. You know, those people who like in their bridal era, they like just constantly only wear white. I fear I may become that. I just love fashion so much. Okay, so some ideas I have. Like, I love high necklines. I feel sexy when I wear a high neckline. I know that's counterintuitive because we're taught to think that like plunging necklines are sexy. Don't get me wrong, there's a time and place. I enjoy that as well. But like I love like that halter style where it like scoops under and like up to your neck and then like goes right up around your neck and then completely backless. That to me, I'm like, Yes, I love that kind of silhouette on myself. So that would be one silhouette I would consider. Equally, I love like an off the shoulder moment. So like little arm parts that go over your shoulders. So it's like not a strapless, but like you guys get it. I don't know why I'm over explaining that. It's not that complicated of a concept to understand. So I love that kind of neckline as well. I do really love lace. I think lace is very beautiful and I love how textural lace is. And to me, there's something very bridal about lace. Maybe it's because my mom wore a lace dress. I don't know. I just love lace and find it very just like feminine and dainty. And so I would love lace. I could see doing like that halter style with like a V with lace overlay. So like you can still see the skin through the lace, but it's the high neck and then like open back. I think that would be very pretty. I would definitely consider doing like a short dress. Like I'm not committed to doing floor length, but I'm also open to it. You know, being so petite, it's like tricky to hit that right proportions on my height. So it'll be interesting, like once I get into dress shopping and trying things on, I would like love to make a custom dress. I'd honestly even be open to doing something where it's like there's a long skirt that then comes off to a short skirt underneath, like a transformable kind of dress. I think those are always really cool, or like two-piece sets, like just doing something a little bit different. One thing that's really important to me is I simply must have a veil because I get to wear pretty dresses a lot for my work, which I'm very fortunate to get to do. But like a veil, truly, it's like that's bridal. You only do that once. So I'm really excited to have a veil. I don't want a veil where it's like goes over the face and you flip it. I don't know what those are called.
Okay.
I
I
don't.
thought that's what a veil was. Like that was part of it.
No. There's all sorts of different styles. And I don't personally want that style. I want more of one like just kind of like goes at the back. Like say if I'm doing
Clips
like a bun
in
like
and-
this, it just like sits under the bun and flows down. Or like something like that. Or like a little headpiece that flows behind me. Like I don't want it to come to the front. And I really want pearls. I love pearls and like again pearl details, and something about like lace and pearls just feels so bridal and feels so right. So those are the kind of things that I'm like noodling on in my head. And then the other thing that's really important to me is Elton's outfit. For my prom, we decked Gypsy's harness out in florals, and I would love to do that with Elton.
Be so cute.
So freaking cute, especially because I deeply believe he's the reincarnation of Gypsy, so it would be fun to do like the same little harness thing that I did for her. And I also really want, like the florals, again, is one of those things that to me, for whatever reason, like beautiful floral arrangements just makes it feel wedding-y, and both of our moms are really into gardening, so I think florals is just something I really want to have, pretty florals. But you guys know, being blind, like one hand is always taken up. Like being given sighted guide, a guide dog harness, a cane, like I always have something in my hand. So I think what I'd love to do is like something like a wearable floral. So like it drapes down from my bracelet, or I have like a purse slung over my arm where the florals are overflowing out of the handbag, like something like that. So I'm trying to find this hybrid of like bridal, but make it Molly, where it still feels wedding-y, it still feels bridal, but it also feels like me. And I tend to be somebody who like doesn't follow traditions exactly and like has a bit of a quirky, fun spin on things. And it's like finding that perfect middle ground.
Anything else about the dress or no?
No.
Okay. So these next two are kind of like wedding adjacent, but the first one I think will just be cute, and the second one will be maybe kind of funny. What made you know that your fiance was the one? Save that for the vows, but...
Well, there was no like flip of a switch. There was no like one thing that he did. Feels weird talking about you in the third person when you're sitting right there.
Right here.
There was no like one thing he did where I was like, he's the one. It's just from the moment we met, I felt safe and calm and comfortable, and it's just always felt natural. And that's not to say that like the 3.5 years we've been together have just been like all easy, hunky-dory. No, like we've had challenging times that we've worked through, but we always came out better and stronger for it. And it was even like working through those things, it was never hard. Like it felt like we were working through that difficult thing as a team. And I think it was just like, I can't imagine my life without this person more than like anything else. It was just like, this is my best friend. I feel so safe and comfortable. Things are so easy and natural, and like that's the kind of person I want to do life with. And all of the major things that I would need to and want to align with somebody on, we do. And yeah, I feel like I feel this sense of like peace that I know I'll be okay if I have him.
Aw, I love you.
I love you.
Okay, so this is a funny one. I think it's funny. Anyway, what if your fiance decides he wants kids at one point? What would you do?
I mean, that's kind of a non-negotiable.
That's why I think
Like,
it's funny, is because
yeah, it's like
no,
that.
like we've already decided like that's not happening.
Yeah, like that was very much something we decided pre getting engaged. We've talked about it and thought about it a lot over the time that we've been together. And I don't foresee a universe where either of us change our minds, because it's not like either of us were like on the fence. Like both of us individually are pretty certain, even without the other, that we don't want children.
I could never imagine like changing my mind so much that I want that more than just to be with you.
Right.
Like that would be wanting it a lot, not just a little bit. Not be like, oh yeah, that would have been nice, damn.
It would
You
be
know?
such a drastic change up from
Yeah.
the firm stance that we're both at now and have been at for a very long time. And I think, like, to be so clear, like we're at the point of not wanting kids where like one of us will get a snip. Like it's not debatable for us. But I think at the end of the day, like if somebody did change their mind, it's just like an ongoing conversation, because like once you make the decision to get married, like you're choosing to merge your lives and make decisions as a joint unit. So like it would be a lot of conversation, but like I would be absolutely gobsmacked if that ever occurred.
No, same.
That would be like such a departure from
Yeah.
who we are and the life that we have talked about wanting for ourselves.
The only thing I could ever see happening is like when we're in our like 50s or something with tons of wealth and like ready to retire, and
Love the way you're manifesting that for us.
Yeah.
We talk like it's factual. It's how you manifest.
and the only thing I could think happening that has any kind of likelihood of believability would be maybe us deciding to adopt, say, like
Yeah.
a teenager or something.
Yes. Yeah.
But we're not interested in kids.
Yeah. We're not.
It's like that's like the closest thing I could imagine. Is like
Yeah.
maybe
Or like if
At
my
that
brother
stage in
or
our
your
life.
sister,
if something happens,
like if
yeah,
something
then I would in a
happened,
heartbeat. Yeah.
right, to their family, and like we needed to take the children from either of our siblings, absolutely.
Mhm. Yeah,
no
no
questions
question.
asked.
Yeah.
We would take the kids in.
Yeah, for sure.
We're more so people who don't want to do baby, toddler, kid stuff. I certainly don't want to birth anything. So, yeah, I think it would always be an ongoing discussion. But it's so funny because we've never even talked about the idea of like if either of our siblings needed us taking the kids, but just here in
Yeah,
this
but-
moment we were both like, yeah, obviously, of course.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate in that way, and how similar our worldviews are, our future dreams and goals, like just everything like aligns as if we're like the same person.
Yeah.
We're very
It's
fortunate.
very-
Even like the way
yeah.
we want to live our day-to-day life in our apartment, like everything.
Our
The way we
communication
think about
style,
money, yeah.
everything is so similar. Like the things that we prioritize in our lives, but
Yeah,
our family dynamics growing up were also very similar. Like our parenting, our parents, our family units, like we grew up in a very similar circumstance. And so I feel like that kind of naturally has like translated to us. And I feel like we're both very pro over communicating versus letting something fester. So we don't really like fight ever. Like everything's just a discussion and a conversation and like finding common ground, and like I don't know, it really is just like life is just fun together, and it just feels like it just flows naturally. We just like my mom and dad are always like, you guys just work so well together, and it's just we do.
Yeah, and I think like that's the trick is like things aren't always fun. Things can be hard, or one of us can say something that upsets the other, but we're both so quick to be like self-aware of like, oh, I might have just said something that upsets you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. You know, like, or how did you feel about that? Or like, you know, things like that
Yeah.
I think like it eliminates any issues before they even become issues.
Exactly, because we just talk everything out. And like neither of us are hot-headed. We're both very calm people. We're both peacekeepers, and we both just like having dialogue over having like disagreement.
And we're both empathetic, so we're understanding of each other's experience and how that could be different from our own experience, you know?
Yeah, and we're always just trying to like really support each other, and like when one goes down, the other goes up.
Yeah. This turned into not just wedding, but just like relationship stuff. So there's only like a few more questions, and they're all kind of similar to each other because people just want to know like wedding plans, ideas, have your feelings on a wedding changed since you last talked about it. So basically all that stuff into one.
Okay.
So I feel like maybe I'll just kind of let you rant, and we'll like do it like by category results.
Perfect. Okay. So, first off, we have not thought about the wedding. We've done nothing to plan the wedding. Like I said, literally buying the sweater is the most I've done. And
we've chatted about ideas. That's what we've done.
Yeah, but it's like we chatted about them before we got engaged too.
Yeah,
so
true.
it's like nothing.
We're just continuing to chat.
We're just continuing to ideate.
And that's what's good. I think like it's good to like think about ideas for a long time, because we might come up with an idea in a month that's way better than the idea we had last month.
Yeah.
And we don't know unless we sit and like kind of, brainstorm. So
I think one thing we've talked about that we hadn't really talked about before, but I think we're both like interested in kind of trying to keep this idea going, is like if we're doing like kind of like a family elopement trip, and then separately we're doing like a party that's the reception, which is the idea we've been kind of working with for a long time now, is maybe like making sure that, say, the trip that we do with family where we get married is like Monday to Friday, somewhere within like 2-hour driving range to LA. And then that Friday night or Saturday night in LA is the big like party where all of the friends and family come. So that way it's all kind of in 1 week. Like we're getting married, and then like a day or two later is the like fun party. So we're still on like the high of getting married. Like it's all still flowing. And also the family that is coming to the elopement part, which is just immediate family, would still be in town for the party and could come to it if they want to. There's no pressure for them to, but if they wanted to, they would already be here. Like, I know my parents for sure would want to come because they're party people, but I don't know about like our siblings or your parents. I don't want to speak for them.
Yeah, but at least if they wanted to, they could.
But if they, at least if they want to, they can. Yeah,
but
but
already celebrated with us.
Exactly, but they also like wouldn't have to fly back in, because at the end of the day, none of our family lives here. Like none of our family lives in LA. His family lives on the East Coast. My family lives in Canada and France. So everybody is traveling in. So yeah, I think that's one thing that we want to kind of try to make sure we can work out. Another thing, we found like a really interesting Brandon Farbstein, who was on the podcast last week on Friday. Definitely check out that episode. It was so good. So good. He recommended a spot. So I think that's definitely high on our list to look into. And one piece of sad news is like, I've like truly been envisioning the party portion, like the reception portion, happening at one very specific location. And it's like really close to our home. We've been there many times, like celebrating special things.
Yeah, it's been like our go-to celebration spot when
Yes.
something good happens.
It's a wine bar, and it's a rooftop, and it's covered in plants. And I love a rooftop. I keep just saying like we just want to be surrounded by nature when we get married. It was beautifully decorated. It had indoor and outdoor space. They weren't open every day of the week, so it'd be like easy to book a private event. I've been to a private event there, so I know they do them really well. And it's accessible. It's like really easy for all of our local friends to get to, and it has like an elevator and a lot of floor space for wheelchairs and guide dogs, and all of that's important because a lot of my friends are disabled, so I need to think about access with venues. And they closed down. Like literally just overnight, we like walked by and it was gone. One day it was there, the next it wasn't. And I'm still like not. I'm like in denial. I'm in denial. I'm like, maybe it'll open up. Because yeah, I don't know. Like that was just continually where I saw us booking to do that. So that has kind of thrown a wrench in things, because I would ideally like the place we booked to be some kind of sentimental or like meaningful, or I don't know, something. But you know, if it can't be, it can't be. But yeah, that was a little upsetting.
Yep.
Ditto. Do you know what's one thing that's funny is that was Elton's favorite spot, and he would always like to go and wander around, and he has been really upset every time we walk by it now. He stops and tries to go in, and we're like, buddy, it's closed. So even he's upset about it. Very upsetting. So that's too bad. One thing that we really want to do, I mean, we love travel, and for the honeymoon, I came across this TikTok back around Christmas, and it was about a beautiful elephant sanctuary in Thailand, and I definitely want like that to be a part of our honeymoon. So for a long time, again, before we even got engaged, like we talked about that spot being either where we go for the honeymoon or a stop on the honeymoon. I'm one of those people, like I'd love to spend less on the wedding and more on the honeymoon, But yeah, I think that would be,
Maybe get it gifted.
yeah, that would be nice. Reach out to them, do some content. That's what's so funny about this job is like I'm obviously going to document the wedding and the honeymoon because of course I will. Like I couldn't imagine, like I think of you guys like, I know it's like parasocial, but like internet friends who like I've shared my whole 20s with and into my 30s and my whole adult life. And like there's no universe I could imagine not sharing all of that. And obviously like to a point there'll be moments that are kept just for us, but it's so special. I'm so excited and so proud, and it's such a big milestone in my life that like I want to share it with you guys. So I'll be making content regardless of if we got to work with them or not. But hey, bonus if we get to work with them in this economy, if we can do an exchange, that would be, I won't say no. Oh, I have been thinking that like given, here's the thing, we're so busy. We're such busy people between like work and life, and I don't know, we're just always taken up with so much. Both of us are like true creatives through and through, which is to say that like we always have a million ideas and we love like working on all of our ideas, and we're big dreamers, and I'd say we're both like visionaries in our own ways. And so we get like excited about these little nuggets of ideas we have, and we like, I don't know, we start like going down these rabbit holes and working on them. And I think, yeah, just between all of that, it's like hard to find time to dedicate to the wedding, which I'm obviously like incredibly excited. But kind of like I said in that other wedding video, I'm also not somebody who's like, there's no universe, I'll be a bridezilla. You know, like it's just like, I'm just not the person who cares enough about that to like make that my sole focus and my number one priority. We're gonna spend life together.
Yeah.
We don't need to rush to do this thing. And so, yeah, I would say there's been moments where I'm like, ugh, maybe the only way we can get this done is to like hire a wedding planner. But then I'm like, ugh, but like the whole point of not wanting to do a big wedding is in part to like not spend a ridiculous amount of money, and then you have to hire a wedding planner, which costs a ridiculous amount of money.
We can do it on our own, especially like, so this one spot that we found that our friend Brandon recommended is it even comes with like a private chef, and like everything's kind of, you could get like yoga, yeah, like all the experiential things that we could have our family all come to do. And then like if we could get like Molly's brother to play music, and then my sister to maybe officiate, like it would all be there, and then all we'd have to worry about is like the flowers and
like
timing,
our moms could like probably put together bouquets for us in part. Like
they would love that because they both love flowers.
Yeah.
But it would just be a matter of, sourcing them from a really nice spot, which that would literally take like an afternoon of Googling.
Yeah.
And then giving a call to the people and ordering them. So.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not that complicated what we want to do. It's just about finding the time. And obviously you make time for the things you want to make time for, but we're 2 months in. Like we're just enjoying the engagement side of life. And when we're ready, we'll make the time to seriously sit down and like dig into things. But I'm really excited about the idea of that venue. Now I'm a bit thrown off about where the other part will be, but that's okay. Yeah. We'll find somewhere wonderful. And we really did want, like, for the elopement part, to have a private chef do the dinner, and to have that morning maybe like a sound bath meditation and a yoga class to just like center ourselves and feel at peace. And yeah, like all of that is at that venue, which makes it feel even more promising, because it's like if we say like rented a giant Airbnb and then if we had to source all of those other aspects, that's a lot more coordinating than this venue, which has it all there, these like villas. So that's really intriguing. And
like booking would be pretty easy because it's not like trying to book a wedding venue.
Yeah.
So in essence, it wouldn't be like you can only get this one day in a year and a half from now. It would be like any weekend you want, you'll be able to find a villa that can do it.
Yeah. Something else that's been interesting is I saw this TikTok about getting married in the national parks, which is like...
And that's why we're like still like toying with different ideas, because like, yeah, we have this one idea we were like, but there's also another idea we really like. We might come up with another idea, Or
like maybe those villas are near a national park or something. I don't know. So... like, getting married in a national park is, iconic, stunning. Like, the photography, gorgeous.
That's one thing that I'm, like, being a photographer myself, I'm like, I can't take my own wedding photos, but I wish I could.
Yeah.
I have a very specific taste.
And he took my brother and sister-in-law's wedding photos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, really cute.
And I'd also love to do, like, an engagement photo shoot as well, which I also have, like, a very specific vision for. I'd love to do, like, a photo shoot that, like, feels like stills from a movie. Like, you and I are the main characters in a romance movie.
So cute.
Like, I think
so fun.
Really cool.
Like, a little themed little thing.
Yeah, but, like, make it look like cinematic. Like, not, like, portraits of us posing with...
Yes. Oh, no.
Yeah, like, no. None of that. So
Sorry, I'm not trying to yuck your
yeah.
yum. Like, if that's your thing, go off, queen. But, like,
Yeah, like
putting
so
my hand
bad.
on your chest, I don't know,
Yeah,
it's not,
so
it's not
bad. I
us.
don't want
It's
that
just
at all.
not us. Like, and that's the thing. It's so weird once you get engaged because there's so much outside noise and so much outside expectation. And I think especially when you have a job like mine, everybody has thoughts and opinions and ideas. And I mean, like, literally, like, media outlets have reached out being like, we'll do a wedding exclusive and like stuff like that. And it's just like, oh God, like this is all so much. Like it's cool on one hand, but also it's like it's hard because I see all the influencers and creators that I grew up watching starting to get married over the last few years, and they're all doing these huge, lavish weddings. And it makes you feel like, oh, is that what I'm supposed to do? Is that what people want from me? And then it's like you remove that noise and you're like, who cares what people want from me? What do we want? And like, we're artsy creatives. We march to the beat of our own drum. Like, of course we're not going to do something that's traditional. Like, of course we're going to do something that's us, and that's truly what a wedding's meant to be. A wedding's not meant to be this big commercialized sensation. It's meant to be something that celebrates this union and this love in whatever way feels organic to you as a couple. And I love a little luxury moment. So I still want it to be very beautiful and very
But like
luxurious.
most importantly, it's got to be us.
But most importantly, it has to be like, yeah, us, and it has to be chill and calm. Like the same way, one of my favorite things about a relationship is like that I just feel at peace with you and I feel calm with you. I want that to be the energy on our wedding day. I don't want it to be a day where it's like scheduled and regimented and like makeup artist shows up at 8. You have to do this at 10. And the first look is at 1. And
You're
like,
just stressed and
and
cortisol the whole time when you should be like just enjoying in bliss, you know?
yes,
Yeah.
like it should just be like the happiest day of your life. And I already asked if my brother would play guitar when I walk down the aisle. Not that there'll really be like necessarily an aisle, but as I walk up to you. And he said yes, he'd be honored to, which is I'm really excited about. My uncle played guitar for his wedding, and my brother and uncle are both incredible guitar players. And then we're thinking, yeah, we want to ask your sister to like get what is the word?
Officiate or
Get you.
certified for.
There's like a word for it. Okay, you guys get the point. That's it for today's video. We've talked just about long enough about the wedding. Let me know your ideas though. Like, I am still intrigued to hear everybody's ideas, especially if you're a disabled or blind bride yourself. Really curious to hear like what worked for you or some fun little ideas. I really want lots of twinkle lights if possible, or like candles so I can see the light. I think it'd be fun to get married like at dusk, like golden hour
Oh yeah,
would
for
be
sure.
really beautiful. I want fragrant flowers, like the florals we do get to have like fragrance. So let me know. I don't know much about flowers. Let me know some good fragrant flowers other than lily of the valley because I don't love those. That smell gives me a headache. But yeah. Anyways, let me know your ideas and thoughts. Ooh, we definitely want the dessert to be one of the desserts anyways. I think we'll probably have multiple desserts.
Yes, with my sweet tooth.
Yeah, your sweet tooth. I definitely want to do one of them to be profiteroles, which is like a puff pastry filled with fresh cream, because my parents had that as their quote wedding cake, and then my brother and sister-in-law had that as their quote wedding cake. Neither of them had wedding cakes, and I feel like since my brother and sister-in-law did it and my parents did it, it is now family tradition. So
And then the other one we're gonna do, which is my call, is the gourmet chocolate dates.
yes.
Which there's a company that we know who makes them and they're awesome.
Yeah, he loves a dessert made from a date, like a almond butter dark chocolate date, that kind of thing. So we'll do something like that. And his mom and sister are also really good like bakers and cake decorators. So we might have them just make like a nice little homemade something. I don't know.
Yeah, like a just have them make the wedding cake for us.
Yes.
You know?
And I absolutely will be making my sister-in-law make me wedding day morning crepes.
Yes.
Why have a French
to work.
sister-in-law if she's not going to make you delicious crepes? Every time I see her, I'm like, Leia, crepes. Anyways, okay, that's it. Until next time, you can click over here to watch the video explaining why we're not going to have a big wedding, or you can click over here to hear our little Q&A that we both recently did together. Thanks, guys. Bye.